What is the best morning routine for business owners and entrepreneurs? I coached 300 people specifically on habits. I also coached 100 entrepreneurs and business owners at this point. And I myself built deliberately for the last 10 years habits. And I have to say, when I started working with people on habits, that was 6 years ago, I thought very high about habits. I thought, well, habits are the key. This is the game changer for everything. And over the years, I questioned it more and more. And I also noticed it's not the ultimate solution for everything. And I became a little bit more critical about this topic. And basically, I feel like over the last 10 years, especially the last 7 years, my opinion on habits became a bit more seasoned. And I would like to share this idea. In this video, I'm also not going to share sexy advice, not this big ass aha advice, which is like ingenious. I actually shot a video about this because I noticed, when I talk with my clients one-on-one, there are some things that I say where clients repeatedly say, great, this is awesome, ingenious. And those tips are valuable. I have a video here. I also put it in the link in the description box below. But this video is not about the sexy aha advice. It's more about the most real and raw advice that I found over the last 10 years and the 300 people I coached is most important. And with that, I also mean that clients sometimes don't take this advice so serious. They're not like, wow, this is ingenious. I'm more like, yeah, I got it. But then they don't do it because they actually want something else, but this is not giving them the actual results. That's what I also mean with not sexy. It's easy to just not take a closer look at it and not make use of that, but it is most important. And I'm also going to share you what my morning routine. I am a business owner. I'm running a coaching business, and what my morning routine is these days after adjusting this over 10 years. Okay, so first of all, the 300 people that approached me, I noticed that they're basically there are 3 types of people that are approaching me. That's it. Really, I can always categorize them that way. And the first type of people, this is, by the way, 50%, the people that approach me who want to work on habits, is that they are coming to me and they feel like they kind of hit a plateau in life, they're procrastinating and they're not really satisfied with their progress. They feel like they're not progressing. And they just want to build some habits. They want to get this feeling of, I'm actually getting ahead in life. And when we dig a little deeper, because in the beginning, the first couple of people, I was also just like, okay, let's do this. I mean, you want to build those habits, let's just do that. But I noticed if I just ask a couple of more questions and if we dig a little deeper, they actually don't know what they want in life. They actually don't have a direction. That's why they struggle to build habits, because they don't really know what they want. And even building a morning routine now works for a little bit, but it's not going to be sustainable. You're going to backlash because sooner or later you're going to question subconsciously, why am I doing all that? It doesn't make sense. And with those people, I actually even started working on creating a life purpose, a vision for their business, for themselves, what they want to do, what they actually really care about. And this is what I found to be most effective to actually then become more productive and get ahead in life. So basically, they're just trying to overcompensate a feeling of not being productive and good enough. The second type of people are those ADHD people who are all over the place, very creative people, also partly very successful, but they notice I'm all over the place and I need some habits. And then they have very unrealistic expectations of, okay, I need to wake up the same time, I need to work at the same time because my habits are all over the place. And those are goals that are not realistic. We need to take your personality into account. If you're very much an ADHD type of person, having a lot of ideas, very creative, being a very creative person, you cannot just have a fully structured day from morning to evening, but still, be creative. Creativity has something to do with letting go, with being spontaneous. And a habit, in a sense, is a prison. I mean, if you say I meditate from 8:30 till 9, that's a prison. You cannot do anything else. And it also takes some effort. So you should think very well whether you want that prison and whether that makes sense. So with those ADHD people, I noticed it's most helpful to, first of all, break their idea of how habits work and what they can do, and have a more realistic perspective and take their personality into account and find sort of a mixture of how they can get more productive and have some more structure while being creative and take their personality into account. And the third type of people, those are actually maybe just 10% to be honest. Those are the people where I really think and feel like, yes, it makes sense to build some habits now together. Let's work on that. Let's talk about the habits you want to build and let's do that. Okay. Also, generally, when it comes into a morning routine, I think generally it's helpful. And I doubted this over those 10 years also quite often. I think it's helpful, but I think most people get too stiff about it. They expect themselves to be a machine, and they have this idealized idea about how this works. I wake up the same time every day, then I do this, then I do that. I'm just like a machine getting ahead. And don't get me wrong, I think there are phases in life where this makes very much sense to just be like very structured and just productive. But that's not something you're going to do over 20 years every single day. Yeah, that's like, I think a lot of people have this exaggerated self-optimizer within them. And I like this again, and I know it's hard for you to let go of this idealization of just self-optimizing yourself, but it's not sustainable. You are a human being, and sometimes your dog dies, and sometimes you just wake up and you don't feel like it, and sometimes you feel maybe a little bit depressed in some phases of your life, or more anxious, or your wife just got a divorce with you, and you need to take all of that into consideration as well. You're not a machine. I think that's very important. It's not sustainable otherwise. I know you want to hold on to this idea because it's so amazing, but the thing is, it's not sustainable. If you have those expectations, but you're a human being and you cannot reach that, you're going to be disencouraged, and you're simply stubborn for not accepting that you're human and that you sometimes need to lower your expectations. Okay. Here are now 3 things I think that are though always helpful for a morning routine. First idea, your morning routine starts the night before. So the night before, you should already maybe tidy up a little bit your space. Making a plan for the next day, especially when you're self-employed. To make a plan. You have a long-term vision, a mid-term vision, that's already set up, but what are you going to do tomorrow? Very important. To prepare as much as possible. I mean, I personally already prepare my breakfast the night before. You can maybe even already decide on the clothes you want to wear tomorrow morning. So basically, when you wake up in the morning, everything is very clear and simple. And you can directly slide into the day. So the morning routine starts the night before. This is something very valuable. I still think after 10 years, and I never really doubted that, to be honest, that the night before, this is when you should start your preparation for the next day. So your morning routine starts in the evening. Second important point, I think, independent of who you are, I think is might be helpful, especially again when you're self-employed. It is to have a certain intention for the day. What do you want to do today? Also the night before, what I just said, you make a plan for the next day, so you're very clear on what's happening, and in the morning to just quickly get an intention of, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my day. This is how I want to be today, who I want to be today. Because we easily fall into those habitual patterns. We just go from day to day and we're not actually performing at our best because you don't have this clear intention of who you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, what kind of conversations you want to have, and what are the results of those. So in the morning, have a minute for that. And lastly, it's mind clarity. Somehow make sure that your mind is clear. And you could do this by doing sports. I'm usually not doing sports in the morning because I do sports with my friends and they do it in the evening. Also, I have time in the evening. I enjoy doing sports in the evening. But for my mind clarity, I meditate in the morning. I personally meditate for 30 minutes. I don't think that everybody has to do that. Maybe you do yoga. Maybe you just sit down with a cup of coffee on the table without your phone and your laptop, and you just sit there and enjoy mindfully the coffee and get some mind clarity. I think that might be also very helpful. Yeah. So start your morning routine in the evening. Have some intentions in the morning where everything is set up for a day and you know what to do. And have some mind clarity, whether it's sports, yoga, stretching, having a calm minute for yourself with your cup of coffee or tea, and meditating, whatever it is. Those 3 things I think are very helpful in a healthy and sustainable way. What is my morning routine these days? I usually wake up at 10 to 7, but I don't always do that. Last night, for example, I worked until 10 p.m. I had some creative ideas. I just worked on that, and then this morning I just didn't set my timer. And for me, that means, because I usually wake up very early, that means I sleep in, which is like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I sleep like an hour longer, and that's fine because I take my life into consideration. Or sometimes I'm out with friends longer, then I sleep also an hour longer in the morning. That's fine for me. Maybe for you not, but I'm just sharing how I'm doing it. But usually I wake up around 7. Then it depends. Either I take a shower. Sometimes I did sports the night before and then I showered. Why should I shower in the morning again? I don't do that. Sometimes I don't do sports the day before, then I shower in the morning. And then I meditate for 30 minutes. And though sometimes I wake up and I'm instantly hungry, then I have my breakfast first that I already prepared. And sometimes I'm not hungry or I'm fine, and then I meditate first and then I have breakfast. And this is how I personally enjoy it most. But sometimes I wake up and I have this really painful stomach because I'm so hungry. And then I decide to eat something first. Yeah, and then I quickly think about the day, my intentions, what I want to do, and then I start the day. So fairly quick. I mean, the longest part is those 30 minutes meditation. But that is also quite a commitment. I'm not saying that 30 minutes is necessary for everybody. I think that's more like my personal part of mindfulness and meditation. I'm taking this more serious these days. Also going to meditation retreats at least once a year for like 10 days or something like that. That's my personal adjustment. And the question is, what's your personal adjustment? And again, the morning routine shouldn't be something that is exhausting. It's not like, oh, I need to still do this so I can start the day. It needs to be something more smooth, more easy, more lighthearted. Something that you enjoy. Because you only have so much willpower during the day. If you already use half of that and the day hasn't even started properly, it's not going to be a productive day. Yeah. Okay. Those are my main ideas. And yes, you didn't get a fully clear structure of your morning routine because it depends. People like jumping to conclusions. They want the perfect recipe for the morning routine and they just do this thing every single day. But again, this is the wrong idea. This is an immature idea of how habits work. So let's get mature here and have a more reasonable understanding of reality. If you're now interested in building a morning routine for yourself or generally building habits in a sustainable and healthy and mature way, then you can hit me up. There's a link below the video. You can schedule a first free call about building habits. This call will be already valuable for you, I promise that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to you. Share this video with anybody who's overdoing it right now, who's overkilling it with habits, who's too stiff about it and not noticing yet that he's not a machine. Might be helpful for them. And yeah, otherwise, thank you for watching and I'll talk to you soon.